Hi, everybody. I'm here today to present our paper that myself and co-author Miftah Ghneim have been working on. And it's regarding socio-technical system frameworks and how they can be utilized in STEAM research, particularly. So we're trying to explore this kind of avenue to see, is there a relationship where this particular framework can be used within STEAM? So the purpose of the research that we've carried out is to review the literature of STEAM and socio-technical systems theories, the frameworks behind them, and the application of those frameworks. To understand and compare existing socio-technical system frameworks and how they're used in various domains. So I think if we can first understand socio-technical systems frameworks and see which different domains they've been applied in, then we can kind of see that there's some sort of relationship where we can actually apply them in STEAM. It helps to explore the applicability of socio-technical systems theory within STEAM. And then finally, as the main contribution of our paper is to propose a framework to contextualize socio-technical theory within STEAM, because we do find that there is a strong relationship there, but it just hasn't been explored fully. So if I go with the literature overview of our findings, I'll talk a bit about socio-technical systems first. What we mean by a socio-technical system is the abstract interaction between the social elements and the technical elements of a system and how they work together to deliver proposed outputs. So you've got the social elements, which are the people and the processes, and then you've got the technical elements, which are the technology, so the hardware, the software, and the actual task at hand. So we look at STEAM. Obviously, STEAM, as you know, is an educational approach guiding inquiry through science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So a little history about socio-technical systems and like where it kind of originated. It was early as 1950s, where coal mine productivity was decreasing, even though they had the best of the best technology. So the problem that they identified there was there's a lack of correlation between the people who were using that technology for coal mine productivity. They were not using it efficiently. So I think it kind of sparked this whole, okay, we need to look at the relationship between the people who are using this machinery, and that was the gap, and that's what caused this kind of theory to be introduced. And as you can see from the timeline, transgressing into different industries, so it started being applied into the Indian textile industry, then into manufacturing and chemical processes. It then obviously started being applied all over the world because it just became apparent that there is a need for the social elements and the technical elements to work together in order to give you a delivered output. Then obviously the level of the socio-technical system principles then were further developed. They started to realize, okay, it needs to become a bit more technology focused. So they started giving them kind of technology-focused definitions, saying that a socio-technical system was re-engineering of work processes. So it's kind of developed over time, and they really tightened their definition of why we need to make sure that the social elements and the technical elements are, in fact, working together. And then obviously, on the next slide, I'll talk you through how it involves into STEAM. So just a bit about how socio-technical frameworks have been applied in different domains so far. So not only in the the socio-technical industry, but you have domains such as biochar technology, financial services, technically risk management in financial services, information systems, and then Industry 4.0 and cybersecurity. So these frameworks have been applied quite widely in different domains, and that's why we realize that there's scope for it to be applied in STEAM research particularly. If I tell you a bit about the industry, so the biochar, they've kind of realized that they can't reduce carbon emissions just using technology And that's where the socio-technical frameworks come into the biochar industry, so that they can more so understand how they can incorporate the social elements to be able to deliver their output of reducing carbon emissions. If we look at risk management in financial systems and information systems, I think they have started to take into account the people in the organization and how they kind of approach these risks when they're going through risk management. And some of them even adopt different methodologies to help to kind of shape those organizational discussions to make sure that they're more coherent and, of course, more holistic when they're having discussions about risks, for example. If we look at Industry 4.0, we know that it's now becoming a smart world. We have a lot of smart products, smart machines, smart operators. So in this case, the actual framework in this study has been applied to kind of teach us that we don't want to replace humans with technology. That's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to improve the relationship between the humans that are using that technology. So I think that's one of the key kind of points how socio-technical system frameworks are being used in Industry 4.0. So it's about having those two elements work together correctly. And then obviously we've got cybersecurity, which again, they have used socio-technical systems frameworks in this area because they've tried to look at the joint optimization of security protocols, optimizing their levels of cybersecurity at different organizational levels. So I think in these areas, that's how kind of socio-technical system has been used so far. So from our findings of how we think socio-technical systems frameworks can be used within STEAM is that we've said both STEAM and STS, so STS I say short, they both adopt a holistic and problem-solving approach. So STEAM has kind of, how can I say it? So STEAM research kind of promotes creative thinking, problem-solving, and those are similar characteristics to what socio-technical systems have, and they both tend to adopt a holistic view. Holistic view can be built into how STS frameworks can be used within STEAM. So again, picking on the point of how they both have a holistic view, it's about identifying a small relationship there between the two areas of research. And one thing that we found was that both STEAM and socio-technical systems, they are more so involved in having physical creative workspaces and design. So we know that STEAM tries to incorporate the arts from STEM and how they can kind of combine. They believe that having a good workspace design promotes creative thinking, problem solving, and those are the correlations that we found by using the socio-technical systems framework. So both socio-technical systems and STEAM, they share a view that physical environments play a key role in helping to shape, constrain, and promote a range of behavioral and organizational outcomes. So from creativity to well-being, performance to communication. So that's the kind of relationship that we've now identified, and as a contribution to our research in this area, what we would be proposing is a framework to contextualize socio-technical systems theory within STEAM. So that's our end kind of point. Our contribution from this particular paper is how we can utilize socio-technical systems frameworks in STEAM research. So what we've done is this is, I'd say, is a preliminary kind of conceptual model that we've created of the framework. But once the research is actually complete, it would be a lot more detailed. So what we've done is identify the STEAM characteristics and identify the socio-technical systems characteristics. And it will help us to develop this new framework to show that there is a relationship between those two research domains and how socio-technical systems frameworks can be used within STEAM research. Thank you for listening, that's it.
you for that short presentation. So I would like to encourage some questions. Yes, at the back.
Hi, it's a really interesting presentation. Thank you. I'm a radiographer by background, so the thought of putting the people and the technology together is, exactly what I do when we produce images. It's not really a question, but actually I'm really interested in how you're going to put these together, because I think there's it would be something new to bring to health, thinking about health as well, with the technology, the people, and what happens. So I'll keep an eye on you.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, just to build on that, there's definitely huge scope for how socio-technical systems theory can be applied in a wide vast of industries. I myself am currently doing a PhD in inventory management, and it's really looking at closely socio-technical systems theory and how we can learn to manage our inventories in businesses a lot more effectively, because the problem of lost stock is never ending. So there's definitely scope, and absolutely this theory is all about the working together and the collaboration of the social elements, which is the people, the processes, with the technology and the information. So definitely I'm really passionate about this particular subject, and it would be great to see it kind of progress into the health industry 100%. I am aware that there could be areas that it's being utilized in, but definitely, if you consider doing extra research, you might be able to see that there's a gap, and that there's a need for this particular theory in the health industry for sure. That's brilliant. But yeah, there's definitely a scope for work to be progressed hugely in this area.
Okay, we have another question at the front.
In your literature review, you mentioned that you also looked at risks in financial services and in information systems. I think this is an area where I'd encourage you to develop further work, because I've written, researched, and published in the area of reputational risk, but very much seen as a construct of governance rather than marketing or CSR. And I think there is there's a need actually in risk work for more to be done in the area of risk communication. And there's some of the work, you've touched upon some of this here, but I maybe more behind it. But I think in terms of future directions, that's something which it'd be great for you to develop further on. I'm happy to follow up with you separately on that. But particularly where you're looking at risk applied to softer areas, qualitative approaches, whether it's cross-cultural or whether it's reputational or strategic, whatever. I think there's a real need for that. And STEAM, by virtue of its nature, could actually be a very useful construct for that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think STEAM's quite a huge kind of construct, and I think we can kind of deploy this theory in a lot of different areas, but that would be great, and we'd definitely include that in our future work for sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayzah. Very insightful as always. This is just more of an opinion, question. With the most industries going into AI and data science, and there's so much data being created, in your opinion, and looking at the literature and the research that you are doing and STEAM, where do you think with the components of socio-technical research is the most challenging one in the upcoming 5-10 years?
I think, obviously, I'm going to be clever and kind of build my research into this, but there is a real problem with, I think, the relationship between people and technology and processes in particular. Okay. So, it's tricky to highlight one specific area, because I feel like the whole theory is to be looked at holistically, but challenging, absolutely. If we look at a lot of the problem areas, a lot of the answers were probably given to you by the STS theory itself, and how there could be. It just depends, because there could be just a problem with the processes. So that can kind of disrupt that triangle of people, process, and technology. There could be a problem with the people who are using the technology. Maybe they're not well equipped or trained. There could be a problem with the technology itself. So it just depends. But the whole idea is for all of those elements to work in joint optimization to give you the actual preferred output.
The reason for my question is because there's so much data being produced, There's so much technology being
Yes.
evolved. So yes, I think you're absolutely right. There's an equivalent equilibrium between data technology, process, and people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be a scope
Absolutely.
for the future. Thank you very much, Ayzah.
Thank you.
Very well done.
Thank you.
And connecting it back to STEAM, as we are kind of in the STEAM House conference, I just wanted to ask what you thought the arts or design can actually bring into this new framework.
I think the key kind of characteristics of STEAM that we've identified from our research preliminarily is that they focus on having creative workspace designs. And that's one of the key things that the STS also promotes, because they both tend to promote problem solving and creative thinking. So that's the kind of relationship that we've started to identify there, where there's more focus on physical workspace design and how it can be used to promote that problem solving and having that holistic view of a problem situation, for example.
And is there a time frame for this new framework that you're developing?
It's yeah.
Well, the timeline, actually, hello everyone. I think the timeline is we're trying to manage our time to participate in the journal of the upcoming journal of the STEM journal as well, and we'll have like the framework, the conceptual one ready for that one, and then other people can take our framework and maybe apply it, or but that's what we're aiming for now. But again, it's regarding the time and the work that we have as well, because we're applying the same theory in our both projects as well. So I would say the nearer the better, but it's like it's not, it depends. It depends on how.
Yeah, but we are targeting the new STEAM journal, so definitely. I think it's the start of something great, and I feel like there's a lot of progressive work that can be taken forward from this, like the health industry, for example. So yeah, we look forward to seeing how the work can be progressed further.
Great, thank you. Are there any final questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank
If
you
we
very
can
much,
thank
everybody.
Ayzah
Thank
once
you.
again.